Hey guys, it's Nick from nicksrambleasmr, where I ramble to you about anything entertainment related, positivity related, or lifestyle related content. Today's video is such a special video because we have my friend, the amazing creator, the ASMR Samurai, aka Sam, joining us on this channel to talk about the mystery of of the mystery. Oh no, the mystery. I must say his name. What is it?
Oh,
No, okay.
I mean, the
To
rest of it
talk
was
about
great.
to talk about the mystery of Dr. Thomas Pritchard. So let's get into it, shall we? Okay. Okay, cool. So we're gonna do this video. So we have everything over here, which is why we're gonna be looking off screen a little bit. Yeah. Just like the text, but Sam has never actually read the story yet, so we're gonna go through it, and then I'll add in like a couple more details because I was doing all the research. So let's get into it. Sam, do your thing.
I'm going to start it off.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so the SS Andrea Doria capsized and sank on July 26th, 1956, after colliding with another ship. The crash killed 52 people and left the ocean liner lying on its starboard side off the coast of Nantucket. Nearly 6 decades later, the ship took the life of a longtime Penn State professor.
And this professor was named Dr. Thomas Pritchard. And a little bit of background info about him was that he was a faculty member for more than 30 years as a part of the Neural and Behavioral Sciences Department in the College of Medicine. I believe it was at, I think I want to say it was Penn State. I think I'll say it later, but if not, I'll add it right here in the, yeah, it'll be here where he taught. But yeah, he taught there, and according to a press release from the university, he led an active research program in the study of taste for decades. But yeah, he was really interesting. Well, okay, we'll just keep reading, and then I'll tell more background. So,
Well, it sounds pretty
Sam,
interesting.
You continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes.
He was lost at sea while diving the Andrea Doria's wreck on July 21st. Pritchard was an experienced diver, having picked up the hobby later in life. He was on an expedition to explore the wreck and headed down to secure a mooring line that connected his boat to the Andrea Doria.
So this happened in July 21st, 2015. And yeah, so he's going down on a mooring line. Okay, yeah, I'll just keep reading. Sorry, I have so much info, but okay. So after he and 2 crew members attached the line to the boat, they had a few minutes to explore the ship before they had to resurface. A lengthy process because of the pressure so deep in the ocean. So, a little bit more info about this. The ship, the SS Andrea Doria. So the ship itself, it was like a cruise ship that was coming from Italy in the 1950s.
Okay.
It was it was really big, but where it sank, and the reason I chose this is because I live in Massachusetts, so Nantucket is where it, went down. But it went down so far. It went down like 250 feet, which is
That's
crazy.
Far. Yeah, it's really far.
Yeah, it's really deep. Sam, I think you scuba dive more than I do, it sounds like. But I think for that, there's like recreational diving, but then you have to get like a certificate or something to do further stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know anything about that? Yeah.
Yeah, you need your advanced diver and then your deep diver as well.
Sick. So you need that. So the thing is, it's so deep that and I was geeking out because I was learning all about this. So stay with me, guys, and Sam. But I was learning. So like when you go down that deep, so you have like oxygen, right? But when you go down that deep, I don't know if you know this, Sam, but they switch to this like chemical compound. It's called trimix, where they actually, so you start like intaking it. I don't know if you know, but it's so it's like nitrogen, oxygen, and helium. They do that so that like I think it's like your lungs and stuff doesn't collapse or something like that.
Yeah.
But so the way they go down is there's that mooring line. They're like going all the way, basically just using gravity to just to drop down. And I did some more research, and they only have around like 15 or 16 minutes once they get down there to actually explore the wreckage itself. And this was a huge ship, which was pretty cool. But yes, and the longer that they stay down there, the longer it takes to actually come back up, because they have to, as Sam knows, like you have to like equalize your pressure, and it's with oxygen in your bloodstream. You don't want to get air bubbles. So the longer you stay down there, the longer it actually takes to come back up, because you have to take like steps to go up. But yeah, right. So I'm digressing now. I am rambling.
It's okay. It's part of the thing.
That's what I do. Yeah. So they basically just got down there. They're at the boat. And Sam, you can do the next paragraph if you want.
Sure, yeah. They all ventured out separately. They went out separately. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the first crew member reached the surface about 75 minutes later. That's a pretty long dive considering how deep it is. According to the Boston Globe. The next came up 15 minutes later, but Pritchard didn't follow. A search and rescue team was called, but his body was never found. Okay, that's like a weird thing too. Like, why would you separate? It's like, it's one thing if you separate and like you meet up, but like you separate and then you don't meet up until you reach the surface. That's a weird thing to do.
Yeah, isn't that weird? It's also weird that like you would think that you would get to the ship and that you would like have a buddy system, or you guys would go around.
Yeah, right.
And I know, yeah, right. So I was like, that's weird. So the reason they went down there, so the mooring line is like that line that they attach. If you haven't scuba dived, it's a line that they attached, I think, from the, Sam, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's like from the boat to the actual wreckage, so that you use it to basically, you know, as a guide to get down and a guide to get up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy that they all separated, and then they all didn't realize that he was gone until they got to the top.
Yeah, because even with that, like a lot of people use mooring lines to go up because you have to do your decompression stop, which is kind of like when you have to stay at a specific depth for a certain amount of minutes, depending on how long you're diving. But a lot of people use the mooring line to hold on to. That way you don't bob up and down with the waves. So the fact that they didn't even see each other there is really weird.
Yeah, isn't that weird? And so it's not in this too, but what I was reading is they basically got up to the boat, and it wasn't just like, when I read this initially, Sam, I thought it was like just 3 people. They had like a huge, I think a pretty big group go down. And so when they got up to the boat, there were still people down. They got back up to the boat on the like top of the ocean at the actual Andrea Doria. It was, sorry, I'm blanking a little bit. They had they still had people down there, and they saw that there was like a light that was still like connected to the actual what is it called, like the line, we were just talking about it, but
the mooring line.
Yeah, to the mooring line, and it had his initials on it, which was, people kind of got like really freaked out about, because it means that they were still down there.
Damn.
Yeah, so Pritchard, continuing on, Pritchard was the 16th scuba diver to die while exploring this wreck. And this wreck is actually considered by many to be the Mount Everest of scuba diving. And that's because the water is filled with sediment. So it makes it almost like really black, really dark. The visibility is really low. And there's also all these fishing lines and nets attached to the boat, which are like really hazardous as well. So if you think about it, this boat, which maybe I'll do another video about like how it actually capsized. It's insane. I watched a documentary last night. I was like, what the heck? Like,
yeah, sounds pretty interesting.
Rammed into it. Yeah. Also, side note, there's this girl that was in the boat and she was in the cabin where the other boat hit, and then she woke up in the other boat that hit the boat.
That's this
that
boat?
Makes sense. Yeah, and she woke up and she's like, where are my parents? And they're like, what do you mean? And she was like, I was on the Andrea. And they're like, you're not on that anymore. You're on the other boat.
Oh, that's crazy. I've heard of that story before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you have? And I was literally like, this is insane.
No, imagine the luck. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's sad because I think she was the only one that lived out of her family. Like, it hit right her cabin. Very sad, but But yeah, but the Andrea, it actually, I think, yeah, it said that there were 52 people killed. There were like 2,000 people on board, so it was fairly, like, a lot of the deaths came from collisions and also just from like the initial impact, but it also came from people like falling, you know, off in the water and stuff, just like days after dying. So it's a lot of people that died, but overall it was actually, I think, fairly okay. I
That's
mean,
intense.
obviously deaths are not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's even crazier is like they were saying that so like 50 people died in the boat, and it's around, well, they said around half people also died from scuba diving, which is now
Really?
16. But that's a, yeah, isn't that crazy? That's so many
God.
people died.
Yeah, after that many,
Scuba
like, why
diving.
would you risk it?
Yeah,
I'd be like, yeah,
and
that's the place to stay away from.
yeah, isn't that crazy? And
Yeah.
Sam, you can read the last part, but it's, yeah, it's just like a
Sure.
little section for
So,
him.
Pritchard
But
is survived by his wife of 42 years, Christine, his children, Michael, David, and Brian, and his grandchildren, AJ, Brody, Brianna, Jude, Trey, and Chase. He's got a big family.
yeah, he does. So I was like looking at his like obituary and stuff, and it seems like he has a lot of people that loved him and stuff. So it's very, like, it's a very tragic event. And obviously I smile, and I think we maybe both smile, but it's just because I smile kind of more out of like shock that this happened, because it's so absurd.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because, like, a little bit more about the story is like he, so as it says, like, he basically wait, I'm a little, sorry, there you go, now I can see you. I was like looking at the PNG. I was like, it's crazy because like he got into like diving really late in life, and it was saying like he made this whole trip up from Pennsylvania to go on the ship, and the ship, basically they were all just doing dives to the boat and everything. But so they come up, and like I want to get your take on this, but like all the scuba divers come up, and basically like they're like, oh my god, he's still down there, we should go down there and everything. And the boat people are like, no, like, you're not going down there.
Sure.
And they basically don't allow anyone to search for him.
Hmm.
So there's still, yeah, and there's still no, we still don't actually know what happened to him. But do you
Yeah.
think that was like,
I mean,
I
it's
don't know.
hard to know. So when it comes to like rescuing and finding divers, it can be very tricky because a lot of people don't really know their how good they are until they risk their life doing something, right? So if they go down trying to find him, there could be more people that get caught up in stuff or get stuck, and then they die, and then it wouldn't end well, right? So maybe the boat captain was kind of like, okay, we'll stick with one person, then we'll come back with experienced divers, kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah. It's just,
yeah,
yeah,
it's like
it's not.
crazy. I mean, like, you guys should check out Sam's channel too, like the ASMR Samurai, because in the story we basically did another one like this, but in his that he found, like, that's what happened, was someone tried to go rescue to get a reward, and they ended up like dying, which was really sad. I'm just looking through my notes. I'm trying to see if I didn't add anything. So yeah, I guess what we can go into, Sam, is, well, I guess I'll ask you. I mean, like, what do you think happened to him?
When it comes to stuff like that, I don't know. Have you done any like wreck diving before in a big boat like that?
No, I think I've only done like coral reef diving. I haven't done like a. I haven't really done a
that's
big
the prettiest.
boat. I've done,
That's
like,
the
little
prettiest. The
ones.
like coral reefs, they're so pretty.
Yeah, it was so awesome.
So wreck diving, it's very hit or miss depending on where you go. But the biggest boat I ever dove through was really old. I don't remember what it was called, but it was very rusted down. And I was with divers who weren't that experienced. So a lot of the times I'd have to go through, and they would get their foot caught in like a wire, or they would raise too much and then they'd get stuck on the ceiling, so I'd have to like pull them down. So there's a lot of like little things that can happen, but if you're unexperienced and then you're inside a boat hull, like, people freak out really, really quickly, right? So just the smallest thing can happen, and then you could freak out, and then it's over.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's also like, think about it too. Like, you're so far down there, and it's so dark, and like, I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like everything I read said that he was actually like pretty well trained. He was pretty ready to do it. He knew everything that was happening. Like his family even said that he knew, like when they asked her, like he knew what he was going into.
Yeah.
But like it also begs the question. It's like, what if they're like, I feel like you usually have multiple lights on you, right? Like if one
for
dies
sure,
or
yeah,
something.
100%.
Yeah.
Especially if you're diving by yourself, yeah, because they separated, right? So
yeah, and it's crazy because like so the reason they went down was to put the mooring line in, and then it was like, oh, we have time, so like let's go look around. And I guess like the other thing is too, so yeah, he probably got trapped. Maybe something like fell on him too.
Yeah, you never know.
It's such an old ship, and it's so big. It's like I could see, I don't know about you, but I could see myself like going down there and being like, oh, I want to explore like the different rooms and like all this shit. And then you're like, and then like you get disorientated maybe, and then
100%, yeah.
And you can like you can narc out, or you can
Oh yeah,
which is
well, especially
crazy.
when you're that deep down, like that's crazy, especially for like a wreck dive.
Yeah, isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about, if people who haven't explained, do you want to talk about like what narking is and stuff?
Sure. So narking is also known as nitrogen narcosis. Nitrogen narcosis.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's
That's cool.
basically when you're underwater and your body goes into a state of like you start thinking like you're drunk, like you don't know what's going on. You're kind of like freaking out. Your body just doesn't handle the pressure very well. So if that usually happens to you, if you're by yourself, usually it ends really badly because you can't think properly. It's kind of like you're just kind of like completely out of it, right? Like you don't really know what's going on. So, like if you have a partner, it's one thing, but especially if you're by yourself, like it's not good. It's really not good. So that if that did happen, it makes sense why he didn't come back up.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe he like narked out, or also like they also, I don't know if this happens when you're narking, but like I know you can start to hallucinate and everything. And there's been times where people have literally like ripped out their breathing,
100%,
and stuff, and drowned because they freak out.
Yep.
Which I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's like, it's dark. You're probably like claustrophobic. But I think what's just creepy to me too is like, I think, yeah. So I don't know. I think out of all this, I think that he probably narked or he got trapped somewhere, which
For sure.
Because I don't know what else would have happened. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know too, because if he really was experienced, it could have just been like bad luck, right? Like a lot of times people, they get too comfortable when they're underwater, and they do something that just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, right? So you never really know.
Yeah, you don't. They also said, I don't know if this was just like over, just great writing, but they were saying in another thing that they were like, he loved being underwater. It was like his second world. I don't know if that was just like icing on the cake, but
Sure.
I was like, but that could be it. But yeah, I think it's also just kind of crazy thinking like he's won, what was it, out of, it's like it was 16, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
that's a lot.
Yeah, it's so sad for the family, but I was just like, imagine if you go down there and you're like, yeah, you just never know what you'll find, I guess, which is crazy. Know. So, but yeah, so I guess, yeah, so that's the story. That's the mystery of Dr. Thomas Pritchard.
Ooh,
and
that's the story.
His disappearance. Yeah, it's the disappearance of him. So, I mean, obviously, if you have any information, like hit up the police and stuff, but this is like, I don't know.
It's a little old.
So, yeah.
From like 1956, you said, right? Something like that.
Well, this was 2015, which was.
Oh.
Yeah. So
the boat sank in 1957. Oh yeah, that's pretty recent.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I was like, that's when I graduated high school. I was like, different person then, but crazy.
So was there any new information that you read up on from other than the story, or?
No. Okay, great question. Because I was like trying to look up all of this information. There's only like a couple articles. I still think to this day they haven't found anything, which is
crazy.
Which is really crazy. So I'm thinking like the odd thing I was thinking too, Sam, is like, what if he did get out of the ship and he didn't find the mooring line? Like, do we think it would be possible for him to make it back up, or is it like, or would he just not have?
Yeah, like it's not hard to like go up, right? So if you get out of the ship, you just kind of like go up and just hope that you are in the right spot. A lot of dives, like if he was a professional, like it said he was, he probably had gear like a dive watch that told him exactly how deep he was, so he wouldn't really need the line to do a safety stop. But again, if they didn't see each other, I doubt he even made it that far.
Yeah. There's also this other like theory too that's one of the divers thought that they saw him like below him,
Oh,
like by 20 feet, like coming up, and he gets out and then he's like, oh, where is he? He jumps back in the water to go find him. They then call the Coast Guards, and the Coast Guards come and they basically like search the entire water, the ocean, right? And then remember when I was telling you about like the people at the bottom?
oh yeah.
That's when they come up, and one of them, it's interesting because in this article they are anonymous because they don't want to be, like xed out of the diving community because I think they feel really guilty. But yeah, but yeah, like they came up and they basically said that they saw his light and his initials at the bottom, and
That's some crazy stuff.
yeah, and then they stopped searching, and then that boat like left. It didn't stay there. It just like went back to the port and stuff. So crazy. Yeah, but yeah, so that's the disappearance of Dr. Thomas Pritchard. Let me know in the comments what you guys think happened. And obviously be respectful, because obviously if anyone, related to him sees this, we're just interested in what happened, and we send you a lot of prayers and good vibes and energy, and we just hope that we, figure out what happened to him. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks, Sam, for hopping on this
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
First collab. So Sam, I don't know if you know, I think you probably realize, but like at the end of my videos on this channel, we usually do like it's like an outgoing message of just like takeaways,
Sure.
like positivity.
Sure, yeah.
Do you have anything that you like want to say to the people? I guess.
What I want to say to the
What's been on your
people,
mind?
I think you just take care of yourself. When I read stories like this, or when I hear stories like this, it really makes me realize how short life is and how much we take it for granted. So just wake up every day and enjoy life. Do what you love doing, and take care of yourself.
Oh, well said. Yeah, I agree. Just take good care of yourself. And yeah, life's so short. It's so important also to make sure that you do the things that you love. And I mean, obviously his life ended short, but Dr. Thomas Pritchard, everything I learned about him is like he loved diving.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you're doing the things that you love and not be fearful of it.
Oh, for
too.
sure.
So sometimes freaky things happen, but I think everything happens for a reason. So,
I agree.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, we say good night. Have a great day. And yeah, go check out Sam's channel too. I bet you guys all have. He's freaking cool. He does a lot more of like sensory microphone stuff, but he also does great rambles.
Thank
so
you.
like you can get basically everything from his channel. Yeah, it's awesome. Big inspiration. So, but yeah, I'll see you in my next video, and go see Sam in his other videos, and maybe another day we'll do another collab if you guys like this. So if you like it, put a like down, leave a comment what you think happened. And then, yeah, so hit up subscribe, too, if you enjoy this, with the little bell notification so you get notified. But, yeah, cool. We'll see you guys later. Okay,